See, there he is. Hi friends. Today we have a really special video because Tio and I went on a really big adventure. We went out on a boat because if you've been following along the last few months, I've been whale watching and trying to find a whale with my binoculars, and I haven't found any. I had seen dolphins and I had seen sea lions. I hadn't seen any whales. So Tio and I went on a boat to go look for whales. So you're going to get to see that footage too. And we're going to read a story that feels really personal because it is all about how you have to have patience to go whale watching. Because remember, these animals aren't in a zoo, so they're not in a cage where I just go to the cage and can see them. They're in the wild. And when animals are in the wild, number one, you don't know where they're gonna be. Number two, you don't want to get close to them because they could interact with you, right? So it's way different than going to the zoo, or like when we went to SeaWorld and I showed you guys the videos of the orcas. It's way different than that. So I'm excited for you to see that video, but also I'm excited to read this book. It's called If You Want to See a Whale. Look, they're on a boat with a little doggy. Cute. All right. If you want to see a whale. If you want to see a whale, you will need a window. And an ocean. And time for waiting. And time for looking. And time for wondering, is that a whale? And time for realizing, no, it's just a bird. If you want to see a whale, you will need a not so comfy chair and a not so cozy blanket, because sleeping eyes can't watch for whales, and whales won't wait for watching. If you want to see a whale, you'll have to just ignore the roses and all their pink and all their sweet and all their wild and their waving, because roses don't want you watching whales or waiting or wandering about things that are not pink and things that are not sweet and things that are not roses. If you want to see a whale, don't look way out over there to the ship that is sailing. That's the flag that is flapping. Because possible pirates won't help at all when you're waiting for a whale. If you want to see a whale, there's no time to watch the pelican, who may or may not be smiling, while sitting, staring, looking out, because pelicans who sit and stare can never be a whale. If you want to see a whale, be careful not to notice something inching small and green across a leaf. Just nibble, scoot, because things that are smaller than most small things can't be as giant as a whale. See, the doggy found a caterpillar. Oh, and the boy found a caterpillar too. If you want to see a whale, you shouldn't watch the clouds, some floating by, some hanging down in the sky that's spread out side to side, or the certain sun that's shining, because if you start looking straight up, you might just miss a whale. If you want to see a whale, keep both eyes on the sea. And wait, and wait, and wait. Does he see a whale? I don't think he sees a whale. Oh, and then there's no words on the last one, but the whale comes up to say hi. This book is a lot like how I feel when I was watching the whales from the shore with my binoculars. I'd see dolphins. Oh, look, dolphins. I'd see sea lions. Go look, sea lions. I'd see seals. Oh, look, there's seals. Then I would see pelicans and seagulls and osprey, and it'd be all fun. But I was looking for a whale. And it was my first time really whale watching, so I had to learn to like what to look for. You want to look for a fluke, which is when their tail comes up and splashes, or you look for a blow, where there's a big splash when they breathe out and come up for breath, or a spy hop, which is when their nose pokes up out of the water and comes back down. So there's a lot of things to look for when you're whale watching. And going out on the boat was really helpful, and I hope that you guys have a good time watching Tio and I's adventure on the whale watching cruise. And the season for whales is just about wrapping up, but maybe next season from December to April I can start going whale watching again, and maybe you can come with me too. All right, bye friends. Tio, what are we doing today?
Gonna go on a boat.
We're gonna go on a boat. What are we gonna do on the boat?
I'm gonna go see whales.
Go see some whales. Hopefully. It's towards the end of the migration season, and I haven't seen any whales going to the spot, so we're going on a boat to go see if we can see some. I got my binoculars. Alright, we're going down to the boat. We're going down to the boat.
We're going to the boat.
We are on the boat, officially. What's the boat's name? You remember the boat's name? The Marietta. And there's a boat next to us. There's the water. It'll be good. Got my binos ready. So as our boat undocked from the dock, we literally saw a sea lion as we were leaving. He's right there. And we started to make our way out of San Diego Bay and into the open ocean. So you could see that we were still between Coronado Island and San Diego. So we had to get out where it was deeper. Oh, and here's some more of our sea lion friends. We are still in the bay at this point. It's a little bit shallow because it's made more closer to land, and so we couldn't really see whales here. But we did see dolphins. There they are. These are bottlenose dolphins, and they are actually shallow water dolphins. So we wouldn't see them as much out in the open ocean as we do right here as we're leaving the bay. But you can still see that we're kind of close to land with a lot of boats around us, seeing the dolphins. See, there he is. I'm holding on very. So we had made our way to the open ocean, and we saw our first spout, our first blow. And you can see it again right here. This whale is just breathing. And the guide couldn't quite tell us yet what kind of whale it was, because all we can see is the spout and the breath, that little splash that comes up when they exhale. So we were just kind of waiting. So here's a few different breaths. There's a few minutes in between, but I just kind of cut to the breath so that the video wasn't 100 minutes long. And then finally right here you see a little fin. Did you see that fin after that blow? That was when the guide could officially tell us that we were seeing a finned whale, which is the second largest whale in the world, only to the blue whale. And we were able to see two. So there's one that's a little bit farther back that just did a spout, and then there's one a little bit closer who ended up coming right up close to the boat. Did you see it? Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. I think he does come a little closer. Right there. You see him? You can see his fin here too. There we go. All right, so fin whales, there's not a lot known about them, but we do know that they live to be 80 to 90 years old, and they're really big. They are as I said, the second largest whale behind the blue whale. And we saw them, they were feeding. So they kept diving down to go get fish because they are baleen whales, which means that they have little spikes instead of teeth, like little grassy spikes that help them get their food into their mouth, but they don't really chew. They just swallow everything whole. So we watched these whales for a little bit, but we couldn't stay too long because we had to get back at the dock at a certain time. So eventually we had to turn around and head back inland. But on our way back into the bay, you can see we're back closer to the land, we found some dolphins that wanted to come and swim by our boat while we were going in. So you can see the dolphins are coming up close to the boat. There he is. And then this is when I moved to the front of the boat because we can look down right where the boat is making the water part and see really carefully. You can see the dolphins swimming right there at the bow of the boat. They're bow surfing. They're just using the boat to help them swim fast. And right when this was happening, our captain slowed the boat down because he saw a spout in the bay. So this is not a fin whale, this is a gray whale, and it actually is lost because a gray whale usually shouldn't be in the bay because there's no way to go out of the bay once you come in. So sometimes whales, especially this one, is a juvenile, which means it's very young. They get lost, and so it had accidentally swam into the bay, into the shallow water, and was trying to find its way out. But there's only one way out of the bay, and so sometimes it takes wild animals a long time to figure out how to get out of a bay. So we were hoping that this juvenile would find its way back really quickly, so that he didn't get lost or didn't run out of food, because the bay is not as big as the ocean. And here we got to see him. He came up one more time. You can see how gray he is. And then he gave us a little fluke, a little tail whip at the end. Oh, and that was so good. That was the first fluke we saw because fin whales usually do not fluke with their tails. So the gray whale's tail did fluke. And of course, we saw our friendly neighborhood California sea lions still chilling on the buoy on the way back in. And then we had some more dolphins come and swim with us all the way back to the dock. And we had a great time, Tio and I did, on our whale watching cruise. And I'm glad that you guys waded through and were able to see all of these fun creatures with us after months of trying. Bye, see you next time.